From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
The team you're on is as important as the team you lead.
A finalist for a new job. What could be next for Billings' current city manager?
This is a beautiful area to take walks in, and now this has just ruined the area.
Lingering frustrations, how a neighborhood continues to seek answers underground, involving installed fiber optics and brown grass.
By giving back to our community, by being engaged, we make a difference.
Plus, how you can help on National Day of Service Day, and what inspires a Billings nonprofit to highlight a growing need. Those stories and much more coming up in the next hour. Good morning and welcome back to Montana This Morning on this Tuesday, September 9th. I'm Hailey Monaco here with Miller Robson.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Hailey.
Good morning.
All right, so big story today going to be the smoke.
Yes.
We got flow coming in from the southwest now, smoke from the Great Basin coming in. You could almost kind of make it out there with a great shot of downtown there in Billings, where, yeah, it is kind of thick out there. So we'll talk more about that as we go along this morning. 87 right now, or excuse me, we're going to call a high of mid to upper 80s today. We hit 87 yesterday. We'll try to do it again today. So about 10 degrees above the normal. We'll kind of hold on to that next few days, but we do have some rain in the forecast heading into the weekend and some cooler temperatures. Our low of 61, about 10 degrees above the norm. Top gust yesterday of 31. Been very dry out there. We're 32.32 there in the hole, but the good news is we could wipe that out and put us on the plus side by the time we get to Saturday. We're still pacing ahead for the year, though. All right, so quiet out there right now, but you can see that flow from the southwest bringing that chance of rain into our area. That'll be in our western counties. Here in Billings, really our best chance getting into Friday and Saturday. Temperatures right now, we're in the 40s and 50s, 56 right now here in Billings. Again, we're going to go with a high today, trying to get into the mid to upper 80s. Now, because of that wildfire smoke, it may keep those temperatures down just a bit, but we'll call it 86 for the high this afternoon. You can see all of us, for the most part, above average the next couple of days. We'll cool down with that flow coming in, that moisture coming in. But there's a lot of stuff to talk about over the next couple of days, what we're facing. We'll do that coming up here in just a bit.
All right, hot and smoky.
Yep.
Thanks, Miller. All right. Okay. Topping headlines among Billings leadership this morning, the Billings city manager is among several vying for a new job in Michigan. On Monday, a fellow Scripps station in Michigan's Ottawa County reports that the Board of Commissioners there whittled down their finalists to be the county's next administrator, narrowing the group down to 5. Chris Kukulski is among them. This is the third time Michigan's Ottawa County has interviewed candidates for the administrator role, which has been open since February 2024. Several have filled that role temporarily since then. Kukulski is the only member of the 5 candidates who does not currently live in the Wolverine state. As of now, Kukulski has served as Billings city manager since November 2018 with roots in the thumb of Michigan. A new proposal is in front of Billings City Council as of last night. If approved, it would require all city department heads to live in Billings. This morning, our David J. dives into the recommendation and why it's being brought forward in the first place.
The motion is to proceed with a work session in October in this direction.
The City Council voted to discuss at a work session an initiative to have all department heads live in Billings.
If you take the job in the city, and the job is one of the director positions, just like the city administrator, you should be living in the city.
Councilman Bill Kennedy says he proposed the initiative because 3 department head positions will be opening up.
They're making recommendations. Those recommendations for raising fees, mill levies, whatever, that it would affect them also.
So the motion passes 5 in favor, 4 against. And so we'll see you in November.
Some on the City Council are against the idea of requiring city department heads to live within the city limits.
Typically, the costs that they have direct impact on are relatively small dollars. Raise a fee here, raise a tax there, a few $100s at the most, a few nickels or dimes at the least.
I don't think I can support this one. I am concerned about hiring the most qualified person. That's what I want. I want the most qualified people, the most educated people, and the most driven people to lead our city.
Others do like Councilman Kennedy's proposal.
An ordinance can be written that would ensure we don't have an unnecessary barrier, that we're respectful to family decisions, but that we also have the information to understand the dynamics and the perception of our cities when it comes to hiring. And that's important information for us. So I'm going to support this.
We have to have this discussion. So I hope you'll support that and reconsider so that we can have the discussion and come up with a really good policy that won't inhibit those great employees to coming to work for Billings.
Kennedy says there have been no issues. This is simply his plan to add clarity.
I think it's a great policy that we should have.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
David, thank you. In continuing coverage, the Absaroka Elementary School Board voted last night whether or not to keep a historical site in the community. For now, those in attendance tell MTN News this morning that the board rescinded that vote for now. It's a story we've been following closely. In 2019, the Sandstone school closed after more than 100 years of education. Since then, the Save the Sandstone Committee has raised more than $350,000 in an effort to keep the school from being demolished. Their goal, turn the building into a community learning center and preserve history. This is a developing story, and we'll continue keeping you updated as we learn more on the school's future. This morning, we are taking another look at the situation we brought you last week as complaints continue to rise against TDS Fiber. As we recently reported, a Billings man is demanding action after he says a cable company not only damaged the property in the neighborhood, but they have done nothing to repair it since. Now, a week after the story and months after the damage, what is being done to resolve the issue? And with the very latest, here's our Hannah Pettiferi.
These are all little walkways that we all walk our dogs and walk our kids and take them to school. And these are the sidewalks that we walk on, and they're all dead.
What used to be bright green grass, now withered and dull. Back in July, TDS Fiber was installing optic fibers underground in a Billings neighborhood.
This is where I guess it all started.
Hans Abbey, a resident of the neighborhood, expressed his frustration because long after the work was done, the mess left behind is still here and still needs to be cleaned up.
This is a beautiful area to take walks in, and now this has just ruined the area.
Hans described the mess as totally destroyed sod.
I would think between the park department and TDS, something needs to be done. We just need to get the water back on.
He is so frustrated, he's making signs.
It took putting signs up to get TDS to call, and they did.
And he's been reaching out to the Parks Department.
Put in 3 phone calls to them. I've got 2 emails into them, and I haven't had a response back.
City Councilman Mike Boyette also shares Hans's anger.
We want it done. The neighbors want it done. They're frustrated, as you can tell.
Mike says he talked with TDS, and he says the company understands the concerns.
I just got off the phone this morning with TDS, and they said, yes, we understand it's our problem, and yes, we need to fix it immediately.
But the question still remains. Why hasn't it been cleaned up?
I'm hoping that they comply with that and fix this immediately. I want the water on.
And the main goal is to make it look better, and that starts with getting the water back on for the parks.
We just want the water back on. That's all we want. So we can get these parks greened up for winter and let them get some water down to the roots.
After talking with frustrated neighbors, we reached out to TDS Fiber for an update on when this mess will be repaired. They responded with a statement saying, TDS and our contractors have worked diligently over the past several weeks to complete repairs in City Parkland related to construction of TDS all-fiber internet network. Reporting in Billings for MTN News, I'm Hannah Pettiferi.
Hannah, thank you for your reporting. Community members tell us that they plan to meet on September 17th to discuss the issues and make sure TDS is following through on repairing the grounds. We turn now to national news. Russia continues to intensify its attacks on Ukraine this morning. Last night, Russia launched the largest air assault in nearly 4 years of war. Russia deployed a swarm of more than 800 drones this weekend, according to Ukraine's Air Force. The assault caused serious damage in Ukraine's capital, hitting a key government building and killing at least 4 people, including a 2-month-old baby. It comes just 3 weeks after the historic face-to-face meeting between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska.
His willingness to meet with President Trump on Alaska was actually because of the fact that he was really scared about sanctions.
Over the weekend, President Trump said he was ready to hit Russia with a second phase of sanctions. He also indicated he expects to speak with Putin this week. With that war continuing overseas, President Trump is looking to crack down on crime in the Windy City.
Love to go into Chicago and straighten it out.
Trump posted on social media that Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War. The Department of Homeland Security also announced federal immigration agents are launching operation in Chicago and Illinois, targeting immigrants living in the U.S. illegally who also have criminal records. The actions come after President Trump touted his actions in Washington, D.C. yesterday, calling it a safe zone in a matter of weeks. The Trump administration also received a boost from the Supreme Court this week. On Monday, the High Court temporarily lifted restrictions on immigration-related stops in Southern California, allowing agents to stop people without reasonable suspicion that they are in the U.S. illegally, and instead rely on factors like race and if they're speaking Spanish. The court's 3 liberal justices dissented. In another victory, Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts allowed President Trump to remove a member of the Federal Trade Commission while the court considers the case. Rebecca Kelly Slaughter is one of several appointees at independent agencies that the president has removed since he returned to the White House. The 24th anniversary of 9/11 is on Thursday. It's a day of remembrance, but it's also a time many come together and help others in their community. First Interstate Bank is hosting their 8th annual Volunteer Day with more than 400 employees giving back and giving their time. Our Isabel Sparts spoke to one local nonprofit on how the assistance can help propel them forward.
There's a saying that goes,
many hands make light work.
One that rings true at Gratitude in Action.
We go out on to pick up clothing and furniture, and it's nice to give back to the community.
David Brock is one of the many volunteers doing just that at the thrift store that helps promote drug recovery and sober living.
Personally, it's a good accomplishment knowing that you're here to volunteer and help and no expectation of anything.
His hours at the store are court-ordered, but that doesn't make him feel that this work is any less meaningful.
It's given me a new appreciation for people that are having a hard time. We need to open our hearts a little bit more.
As far as volunteers, we average about 4,600 volunteer hours a month.
Co-founder Terry Todd relies on those many hands.
Our staff can get basic day-to-day things done, but when it comes to the larger projects, it's really nice to get a lot of hands on deck.
It's why her nonprofit is one of 42 community partners, all a part of First Interstate Bank's annual Volunteer Day on Wednesday that falls around 9/11. 400 employees will stop work for the day and assist with 59 projects.
Lots of people like collective impact, and so they'll come out together to have a day of giving. And so it works out great that it happens to be this week.
A day of service, but also a day to remember those who've sacrificed everything.
9/11 was a really sad time in our world. And what we know is that we can remember that by giving back to the communities that have supported us.
So whether it's this week or in your spare time, Todd and Barack encourage those who can get out to do so and give back.
It helps you network. It helps you have an accomplishment besides just sitting on the couch.
Find out where you can give, because change makes our world so much better. It is by giving that we receive.
In Billings, Isabel Sparts, MTN News.